To view performance reports for how your Google AdSense advertisements are performing on your website, go ahead and click on the Performance Reports link at the top of your Google AdSense homepage. By default, in the Performance Reports section, Google displays information for the last 7 days and groups that information by day. We can tell that we're looking at information from the last 7 days by taking a look at the top right of our screen. We can see that we're looking at information from the dates March 5th to March 11th. We can also tell that this information is grouped by day by taking a look at the top left of our screen. We're currently in the entire account by day view, which we can tell because it's highlighted in a little bit darker gray color. Now, as we take a look at the information on our screen, I'm going to scroll down a little bit, we'll notice that the first numbers we see are actually total numbers for the date range we've selected. So for the dates March 5th to March 11th, the total estimated earnings are $145.69. The total page views are 76,535, and so forth. Also notice that we have some information displayed in a line graph format. Right now, the only information that's showing up on our graph is the estimated earnings, and we can tell that because we have a green line on our graph, and the color underneath estimated earnings is green. If we wanted to also view another piece of information, such as page views on our line graph, we could click on page views, and you'll notice that the color blue appears underneath page views, and a blue line appears on our graph. So this is a great way to get a graphical view of your AdSense performance. We can also take a look at the bottom of our page where we can see the information is still grouped by day, but it's in table format. So we can see that for Wednesday, March 5th, we had 11,844 page views, 757 clicks, and so forth. Now, at some point, you might want to change up the range of dates that you're looking at, and you can do so by going back up here to the top right of your screen and clicking on the Date Range dropdown. From here, we have a number of quick date options that we could use. We could just look at statistics from today, from yesterday, the last 7 days, and so forth. Also, on the left side of this box, we have the option to specify a custom date range. So let's say we wanted to look at all of the statistics just from this year. We could go ahead and click on the first field here and go back to January 1st. Select January 1st and click Apply. Now the information that's displayed on our screen is for the date ranges January 1st to March 11th. It's still grouped by day, as we can see in our line chart, as well as our table down here at the bottom. But we have a much larger view of information and a lot more data here. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of this table, you'll notice that there are also some averages and totals, which can give you a good idea of some of the trends on your website. I mentioned earlier in the course that in order to gauge how much money you're going to make from Google AdSense, you need to have a base RPM number to go by. So we can take a look at this field over here. This is actually our RPM field, which we can see if we look up here at the top. That's our page RPM. Going back down, we can see that for this year, our average RPM is $7.23. So if we also take a look over here at our average page views, we can do the math and we can see how much money we're averaging per day by multiplying 11,000 by $7.23. By doing the math on those two numbers, you can get a better idea of how much money you're going to make in the future, but you do have to have some data to work with in order for that to work. Now, at the same time, since we're looking at such a wide date range, instead of looking at all this data by day, we could also look at this data from a weekly view by going up here to the top left and clicking Entire Account by Week. In this view, we're still looking at the same date range, January 1st to March 11th, but now we're grouping that information by week, both in our line graph and in our table at the bottom. So you can see these numbers are a little bit easier to consume because we can see them in a more condensed version. We can still see that our average RPM is still $7.23, but now we're looking at the page RPM per week instead of by day. So this is a good way to get a bird's eye view at information over a longer period of time.